Who out of the three of you remember where did you all first meet?
I think we met in 20th century, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. It was long back
Okay.
when Rahman was just, a budding musician.
Okay.
He was composing a lot of jingles and really making a mark.
Right.
And I met him.
With him, I met him in a celebration of a commercial which won award or something.
Okay, okay. Oh, you
With
remember
his
that.
cousin sister, Shalga.
Right.
Met him at a party. Gulzar sahab, I think I met with the young director, which movie never got made, I think.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. We were not aware of the great history
Yeah.
of the South,
Right.
of Cholas, for example,
Cholas.
or Vijayanagar kingdom. I think is a very, very big step today with these kinds of films which Mani sir has brought in.
Gulzar sir, we are a land of the best stories in the world, we feel. Do you think Indian writers have exploited and used our stories enough? Everything is out there, or we could have done more?
Well, I don't think it's an area that writers have not. Writers have been writing almost everything in different categories.
Right.
There have been writers who have been writing history and stories from the history and stories from mythology and different writers were always there. It's the film medium
Right.
which we are talking about
Yes.
has grown from there.
Right.
From mythology to social stories and romantic stories and social stories, and has progressed, and then political, and from political to this place, amalgamated the whole country. I mean, it's uniting the whole country.
Right.
That's where cinema has helped a lot.
In the career of a film journalist, there are very few points when you get a high of doing your job. Gulzar Saab, Mani sir, Rahman Saab, thank you so much for your time. It is such a privilege.
Thank you.
Right, sir, I have no choice, but I have to take you all back. Who out of the three of you remember where did you all first meet?
Three of us.
Or any of you, where did you meet Mani sir first?
I think we met in 20th century, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely
met
right.
in- This is 21st going
21st.
on. In
Right at the
20th
last
century we
century.
met.
Right. Mani sir, do you have any recollection where did you meet both of them first?
Of course.
Yeah,
I do.
please can you share?
It was long back
Okay.
when Rahman was just, a budding musician.
Okay.
He was composing a lot of jingles and really making a mark.
Right.
And I met him.
Right. Rahman sir, do you have a recollection of meeting earlier back in the days?
With him, I met him in a celebration of a commercial which won award or something.
Okay, okay. Oh, you
With
remember
his
that.
cousin sister, Shalga.
Right.
Met him at a party. Gulzar sahab, I think I met with the young director, which movie never got made, I think.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
And Shivendra Singh. Shivendra Singh's first movie.
Okay. Okay.
That's when we met. Then we worked on.
And then, of course, rest is history. Gulzar Saab, if I ask you about Mani sir, what has changed over the period of time and what is the same? क्या बदला है, क्या same है इनमें, Mani sir में?
The change in environment and change in the governance and change in our part in films.
Right, in film.
I think we have progressed a lot.
Progressed a lot. Yeah.
And people like Mani sir has been advancing from personal, small, not small, but from emotional, romantic films to historical films like this, which I think is our history,
Yes.
which is a very great progress.
Right.
And personally, I mean, if I look at this film now, as I saw this glimpses of it and the details, and when I went through it, I mean, we have been always charmed by Anarkali and the Mughal period.
Right.
And, always knew that kind of thing. Or maximum we went to behind up to Prithviraj Chauhan and all
Right.
that. But we were not aware of the great history
Yeah.
of the South.
Right.
Of Cholas, for example,
Cholas,
or Vijayanagar kingdom. Nobody had really exposed them to the rest of India that way,
Yeah.
which I think is a very, very big step today with these kinds of films which
Yeah.
Mani sir has brought in.
Right.
And as an Indian, I felt I missed it. And it's good that at this age,
Right.
I could see it and witness it.
Right.
That I should have known this part of the history also.
Right.
I should have.
You sure?
We were not taught in North that way, which I think he's teaching us now today.
Yeah,
He's a teacher for us
Right.
that way. And I think it's a great progress.
It is a great.
And
progress.
that's what you call progress, the change from today. We are more
Absolutely, sir.
cosmopolitan and more known to each other.
Right. Right. Mani sir, this story also, a lot of people try to tell, you also tried to tell this. This time it succeeded, it reached places, people went to the cinemas, people are talking about it. What did you think struck with people this time?
No, it was not as though it was made before
Right,
it
people
didn't strike.
tried to make it.
Yeah, it's a 5-part volume. It's a classic
Yeah.
in Tamil, and it's a historical fiction, and it's a huge novel. It's much loved,
Yeah.
and even today it's the best-selling novel in Tamil
Yeah.
year on year. So I think the love was always there for the film,
Right.
for the story, and because it was such an extensive story in 5 parts, making it into a single film was always difficult. That is why I think several attempts had been made and they're not able to take it forward. But luckily today, we are able to do it in 2 parts
Right.
and bring it in a little more cohesive fashion. And the technology has changed.
Right.
So we are able to, with all the computer graphics that have come in, it's
Right.
possible to bring it more authentically.
Right.
And therefore today was the right time.
Right. Right. So since there are so many versions and people have their different versions of this, what version, to keep it authentic, would you stick to one book or would you take from different parts of wherever you hear a little bit about the story?
No, I don't know what they've really understood. In the sense, it is only one book.
Right.
It is a 5-part
5-part
book written in Tamil. It is based on real Chola kings and
Right.
things like that, and a fictional story built into that.
Into that.
So they know the versions of
okay.
it. Okay, the versions are only in translations, not in the book.
Right.
The book is there, and what other thing you have is real history.
Right.
So you try to make sure that it is within that.
Within that, right. So when making music for a historical like that, where people have attachment to it, people think that once you read the book, you think it's my book, it's my story. What goes through your mind before you go into music like that?
Filmmaking is a combination of collaboration,
Yes.
and I always feel like what is he trying to reflect, and what is the audience is today.
Right.
It was made for 20 years back. I mean, 20 years back or 30 years back is done, even on a song visualization, done some epic quality visualization. So, always a fan of what he does. My intention is just to augment what his vision is, at the same time trying to be, because 9th century, 10th century is, you don't even know really what instruments were there. The instruments are there,
Right.
but what kind of scope or what kind of ensemble it is. And so to use imagination at the same time trying to be authentic
Right.
and cater to today's audiences.
Right.
Not go into something very
That's
based on anthropology and getting boring, but to be inclusive of all the ideas.
Right. This is such a challenge to impress and get attention of today's audience. Are they more difficult than the previous audience, like 10 years ago?
See, I think 20 years, 30 years back, I used to get a VHS cassette and watch foreign movies. And then it became DVD, then it became, all that stuff. Then net streaming happened.
Right.
Now they're able to access the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know what's happening, who's using what camera, what color correction is happening. People are saying, oh, this color correction would be better like this, and they put examples. So they're fully, switched on, aware about things. So it's a great thing.
Yeah.
The audio, the visual, everything has grown.
Right.
And to use all these tools to bring storytelling, to help him tell the story which he's been dreaming of.
Right, right. Gulzar sir, we are a land of the best stories in the world, we feel. Do you think Indian writers have exploited and used our stories enough? Everything is out there, or we could have done more?
No, I don't think it's an area that writers have not. Writers have been writing almost everything in different categories.
Right.
There have been writers who have been writing history and stories from the history and stories from mythology and different writers. Writers were always there. It's the film medium
Right.
which we are talking about
Yes.
has grown from there.
Right.
From mythology to social stories and romantic stories and social stories, and has progressed, and then political, and from political to this place, amalgamated the whole country. I mean, it's uniting the whole country.
Right.
That's where cinema has helped a lot.
Cinema has helped a lot.
And the writing was there. It needs an eye and knowledge and
Right.
mind to
Right.
pick up from there.
That's true.
And this is one of one of the great picks. I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
pay a compliment to Mani sir for doing this. Really,
Absolutely.
even his previous films, I've
Yeah.
shared with him. I've shared Rahman
Yeah.
with him. I've shared Guru. Guru, for example,
Yes.
a strange kind of a new kind of a biographical film, which nobody had done it like this.
Yeah.
People only mark dates,
Yeah.
but not the movement behind it.
Right.
He marks an era.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that was the beauty of that film, Guru.
Yeah.
And I've been a great admirer of him and
Right.
all through, and he knows it, and I've been saying it in so many words. So, today also I was telling him
Right.
कि कोई नेक्स्ट हिंदी में कुछ करें आप, कुछ भी नहीं होगा तो इंटरवल में एक गाना तो डलवा दो. I've been a great admirer of Mani sir that way.
Absolutely. We all are, sir.
And so of Rahman's music.
Yeah.
I mean, working and writing with him and enjoyed it from the day one.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we all are such big admirers.